Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a blessing to be here. Wow, what a fast responses. You are all welcome. Welcome once again. Yeah, man, enjoy your seat. Today we'll have an interesting discussion. So invite your friends, invite your people. You know who needs such discussion, such a platform to be elevated, to be educated. So how are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? It's been a long time. 1 week is too long. 1 week is too long. As for my week, I think this week I was really tired. I was really tired. I was really tired. But yeah, we thank the Most High for such a day. Sike Owusu. Helena, lage streepje. Welcome. How are you guys doing? Today we will, as I said, we will discuss a serious matter. Because we have heard so many stories, we have heard so many perception, and I think now it's the time to have to receive the undivided truth. Hey, Helena, how was your week? And while we are waiting for people to come in, I think for those who are already in, think already about the things which are happening these days. I mean, whenever you turn on your TV, seriously, it's undeniable about the many things we see here around us. And some of it we might discuss it today. Sike Owusu. Welcome. So, come in, invite your friends. Nakwe, thank you very much. So that we can take off. One second. The topic of today is the influences of the Western. It's a really interesting topic because people have different views. Let me type it because otherwise I have to repeat myself. The influences of the Western. Samuel, welcome. Yeah. Welcome. How was your week? But as I said, so the topic of today is the influences of the Western, and people have different take on it because I can have a conversation with one person concerning the inventions, the progress that the Western have made, and even bringing it back to Africa and what they have given onto us. But I can also talk to another person, and it might be a sensitive subject for them. So I'm really curious on your take, on your view concerning this topic. I can see people already joining in. Samuel, I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. I'm thankful for a day like this. And how are you doing? Welcome, Mike Clements. Welcome. So guys, please give me an answer because I've thinking about this from what are the influences? What are the influences? Because you can have the good and the bad. Can you name a few? Can you people name a few? Let me type in some people. Can some of you name a few in nice. Because now we have come. I'm just calling some in because I'm really curious about the view of you people. Hey, Justice Abigail, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here discussing the topic, the influences of the Western. I know this is a topic which Abigail can, speak out from her heart. She can speak it out from her heart. She knows she likes such topics, so maybe she can give some nuggets. Abigail. So welcome, Coco Orange. Welcome, 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 Ram Martina. Onderwijs. Oh, today you retired. Oh. Sike Owosu. Hello from Toronto. Hey. Do you know what I heard today? There, in a news article, there was a man who did a policeman who literally abused a person because of something simple, and then the minister of Toronto, of the minister of Canada, he wanted to investigate in it. Did you hear about that? Because I think this influence, they have much power. They have a lot of power. What's your view on that, Coco Orange? I see that CK Owusu said onderwijs. Onderwijs. No, you can. Oh, you didn't hear about it. Oh, yeah, man. Please take care. Please. Watch out. Watch out there. It's not easy. It's not easy. Wait, let me. I see someone is. Nee, man. CK Owusu, geen probleem, man. Als je Nederlands, Engels, alles kan. But maybe you can come in. Maybe you can join in to elaborate because that is really good point. It's really good. Yeah, thing which you said. I hope you are ready. But the question that I ask is, for those who are coming in, what are the influences of the Western? There can be good, there can be bad. What is the first thing which comes up in you? Yeah. So, I hope you guys are listening to my background music. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Namincha, welcome. Welcome. Apoka, the one and only. I think you have downloaded a lot. You have downloaded a lot. Let me. Because yeah, there's so much coming on. There is so much going on nowadays. I'm just trying to seek for someone who will and who will not to come in because these are topics which are it might be sensitive, but I think these are the topics we need to discuss also as a believer, because if you're not aware of your society, of the society you are in today, if you're not aware of in which manner or ways you can be influenced, maybe it can even abstract you, or maybe you might, because of that, might not even going to heaven. Seriously, it can be so, it can go that far. But I can see everybody is busy nowadays. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy take. Shambui, welcome. Welcome for being. Maybe you have also a lot to share concerning this. The topic of today is the influences of the Western. The influences of the Western, and what are those influences? Because some CK Owusu, where are you? You are the first one answering it. You said onderwijs, because I think that's a big take of the it's a big take on the influences we have nowadays, because they are telling his story. It is his story, and perspective from the white person might be, or from the Western person, Western view. So let me call in some few people. Maybe someone can elaborate. Helena. Hey. Do you hear me? Helena. It's not easy. Do you guys hear me, or? I think she's having a problem with. Oh, Helena. Wow. The passion, love, space. Hey, today we have deep names. People, don't be afraid to come in. People, don't be afraid. It's a platform wherein we would share our stories, where we will help each other. I don't have all the answers. You might not have all the answers, but together we can really inspire. Together we might even be there for one another. Together we might come to an answer. So yeah, man, the connection is not easy, because I think I've been trying to some. Yeah, man. See, iemand kent je of zo, some. I was trying to call Helena, but I think her connection just turned off. So people, what do you think? What are the influences? What are the influences of the Western? As we will wait for Helena, I think she's back. Yeah, she's back.
Zien jullie mij?
We horen je.
Maar jullie zien me niet.
It's connecting.
Oh, oké. Oh, zo raar. I don't know my phone. Oh, zo vervelend.
It's not easy, hè?
Ik heb gewoon mijn 4G, hè? I have my 4G on.
You have your 4G on.
But it's not working.
Yeah, man, you have your 4G. Oh, wait a second, I'll try again.
Wait.
Otherwise. I think she's having some problems with her internet, but I'm also curious about the rest.
Nee, het kwam niet, hè? Nog steeds niet. Hallo?
Hello?
Nee hoor, dit is
Yeah, I hear you well.
Nee, don't see me.
Maybe try and fix it and then maybe coming later. Because we can always so I think Helena is really trying, but I think also when we talk about the influences of the Western, We can find it in our education. We can find it on our in our history books. We can find it in our yeah, name it. Literally name it. You can also you can even find it in the way we define beauty. Um, and we can even find it in varied aspect of life, because I'm trying to get someone in, but I think everybody is, withholding themselves back because it might be a sensitive subject, or maybe all their internet is not working. Um, God CV, they said, some fix it. Yeah, man, fix the internet, fix the connection, fix the connection. Mm, maybe, but yeah. Besides that, seriously, because there, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Because I can wait for someone to come in, but if everybody's connection is doing gra, then it would be difficult to have a conversation. So as I'm talk, I will always invite people on it, um, and we have to realize that indeed we are in a society. What does the tick? What
Nee.
does the tick term mean?
Oh.
I really don't know.
Sorry guys, my internet is. Ik heb geen video.
Geen video, hè?
Geen beeld
Maybe you
bedoel
have
ik.
to update your Instagram.
Yeah, okay, one moment. I'll try again.
Komt goed. Komt goed. Bedankt. Yeah. Nami just said, I really don't think we are influenced by the Western world. I think we were taught that nothing good will come out from Nazareth. Whoa! Yeah, but who gave us that thought? Who gave us that thought? Is it we ourselves? Maybe Ahmad. What a strong statement. Please elaborate on that. Ahmad, Sam, our internet is going mad, man. Everybody's internet is not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. Razy said, "What does the title mean?" I asked a question, or maybe I can elaborate it. It means that the influences of the Western in today's society. Maybe or we can talk it. We can take it from various aspects. Maybe the way we act, the way we do, the way we think, are there benefits from it, or are they only bad side of it? Because I think we are now in a society wherein we would have wherein you would see a lot. You can turn on the TV and you would literally see people acting out of pain, people being tired, people being sad. And I think these are the topics we would like also to discuss, um, to hear, because it's a platform wherein we would it's a platform. It's a platform we would to share our thoughts together. But I'm seeing who will join in, because I would love to have such in-depth conversation with someone. Because yeah, it's not easy to discuss such thing alone. But I can see it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. So the next question is then, because now we talk about the Western, but how then the Western? Because are they the only kingdom? Because they have been moved to something else. They have moved to a new world. They have moved to something explicit. So maybe we have seen various things around us from day one. Was it already there? Hey Samuel, Jamie, I mean, welcome, welcome Jamie, welcome Jamie. How was your week? Uh, maybe we can also maybe discuss also to make it a bit broader for people who find it maybe too narrow. What is the influences of America, Europe to our modern world? Maybe that would help some people to understand, because we also have entertainment in our midst. Um, we also have entertainment, sport, education, as our brother Owusu said. We have seen a lot of things. We have seen a lot of things, and yeah, Helena tried to have a conversation with us, but unfortunately, her internet is not working. But I think she would have said good things. I see Randy is ready, but he's not there. Eh! Bro,
So,
how are you doing, man?
are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
But maybe you can speak. Maybe you can speak a bit louder. But the question I have for you is, what is the influence of America, Europe to our modern world? Let me retype this question.
Come again, what's the question?
What is the influence of America, yeah,
Yeah.
Europe, um, to our modern society?
I think it's influenced in many aspects of life. Um, Let me take, for example, the examples that are very obvious to each and every individual. When you, for example, look at our clothing, the way that we clothe ourselves, the way that we think,
Mm-hmm.
the way that we perceive ourselves, uh,
Mm-hmm.
in many things we try to look as, or try to, maybe some many of the time is subconsciously we try to look like the people from the Western Hemisphere. We like to dress at them. We look at the Hollywood movies. Many of the things we take in our back minds, and that's it's not our identity where we came from and what we used to do. But now that we are in these places, and
Yeah,
all,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
that we see on the TV, on the news, on the
Mm-hmm.
posters, on the how do you say it, the billboards outside, then you get on a certain way in your subconscious you're being influenced, and that is being portrayed as looking is nice, and you want to be like that, you want to join with the crowd, you know, and subconsciously it's influencing you in how
Yeah,
you,
I-
yeah.
I'm curious. I'm curious because, of course, subconsciously it's influencing us. But because of that, we can wear clothes, right? Because you said the way we dress. Because I heard stories that back home back then in Africa, we were
Yeah,
having our spears, and
but who said that?
we were naked. Huh?
But what, is that true? Who said that?
Yeah, the history books. Eh? I mean,
So there's also an influence there. The history books, like who wrote those history books? For example, when you say history, as the word says, his story, it's his story.
the
They're telling
story. Mm-hmm.
their story to us,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's also a way how you from the foundation start to influence a certain people. Like
yeah,
when you don't know your history or you know where you come from, then people is going to tell you like this is how you were living. You
yeah,
will
yeah, 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 yeah.
years, and that's where influence also starts. Then
But
when
why
you
would they do such a thing?
yeah, why, eh? I think to the reason why someone would do that is to, first of all, when knowledge is power, that is something that is said in the world, right? Knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
When you
True.
have certain wisdom and you can teach other people to how do you say it, om ze naar je eigen hand te draaien, om ze dingetjes te vertellen dat ze gaan wandelen, zodat jij gewoon invloed op ze hebt. Kijk, deze mensen die.
Randy, the historian. Yeah,
Wait,
man. Teach us,
wait,
teach us. What did you?
wait.
What did history taught you? Come on. Speak up.
When
Speak
they
on.
when they start to teach you certain basic principles about when you don't know your history, they tell you, yeah, you need to do this, or we're trying to. They say that we were primitive and we didn't know how to bathe ourselves or clothe ourselves. Then they came try to civilize us. And that's then when you don't know your history, then they will start to teach you certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're ignorant, you just take those things and start walking it, whilst in the first place that's not who you were and how you're supposed to live your life. Then if you're, let's say for example, you're an eagle and they teach you the
Yeah.
ways of being a chicken, then as an eagle you start living like a chicken, while you know
Mm.
you're much greater than that.
Speak on, speak on.
So that means that you're influenced in a certain way that you're not supposed to live. And
Exactly.
these things we still see nowadays. We as a people,
Okay.
we are supposed to live different, and yet we
Yeah,
still
yeah, 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 yeah.
do it.
But since you are a historian, because I heard a brother saying you are a historian, but how did you then get to know your own history? How did you did your research? How did you come across such information? Because the internet, can we trust the internet, or can we trust certain resources? Why would you deviate from your school books?
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, what school books do you talk about? In the school books of the Europeans or school books of other
The
places?
school books of the education system, first of
This
all.
education
Yeah,
system.
this education system present now. And my question is, how did you then um, uh, um, come across, or how did you do your research or your own research on history?
Um, it all starts to when you ask yourself certain questions. If you ask many of the Negroes nowadays on the streets, like, where do you come from? What do you know about your history? None of them, most of them don't know it. They'll just say, yeah, I don't know, yeah, come from Africa, or they don't know their history past slavery. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the majority of that don't know their history past slavery. So that's where the main question starts. Like, okay, all I know now is slavery. And when I look in the books of this system that is ruling now, it
Yeah,
also teaches only slavery. It doesn't teach us who we were before slavery. And when we are following the word, that in the word, it goes further than slavery.
exactly.
We were a people also before slavery. But
Mm-hmm.
that is isn't taught in the historical books and in the teachings of the people that are ruling now.
Not at all. Not at all.
That is where you ought to start. Who am I before slavery? And that's when you start to ask yourself that critical question. Then you go on your journey. Then you go on the internet and find out. Then you will stumble upon certain things and books and sources that will tell you certain directions to look in. And
And then
then
you would also see the different kingdoms which has been established
yeah,
before slavery.
yes,
Um,
yes, exactly.
yeah, man, guys, please do your research. Do your research. He asked himself a profound question: Who was I, or who was my descendants before slavery? Do your research. If you have any questions, please drop it. And also with the questions to the commenters. What other influences can we see in Americas, or in what other influences of America and Europe are found in our modern world?
But I
Um,
have a question for you, eh? Who did you thought that you were before finding out who you actually were?
um, for me, it was a bit easier because I think this question for who was I before slavery is more for the islands.
Oh,
But for me, I'm from Africa. Eating fufu with fork and knife. If I'm from Africa, so if I would say who was I before slavery, I would still say I was and I am an African. So for me, it was easier to answer such question. But I can understand for those in America, in Canada, or in Latin America, uh, it's it's quite difficult to really understand from which part of Africa, for example.
so if you weren't enslaved, then you actually know your history.
Um, if you weren't enslaved,
Yeah. For example, the people in Ghana, they all know their history. Is that true, or is that how do you see that?
and that's why I also see a wonderful quote of Rezi. He said, "History is always writing by the winners."
Written.
And when we talk about history, even from the history of Ghana, um, you would see that even in their schools, they would also talk about a quite different perspective, though you have that oral history or the oral traditions, the oral songs that might help some of us to really know that, oh yeah, we were from a certain or we migrated from a place onto the current place where we are in now in Ghana.
Yeah.
So that helped. But when we talk when we see the majority of all things, and you would see the history books and the way we have been and how the superior people have really come in.
He wants to.
Yeah, I think that would be difficult to really say that a person from his or herself would really do his own research.
Okay.
So because yeah, it's difficult as a Ghanaian, you'll be like, oh yeah, everything is okay. I will just do what I want to do. I see that some people are now having the zeal to come in because CK Owusu also said onderwijs. And we already touched on it, and I think that's a topic we can talk about. So Randy, thank you very much. I will invite CK Owusu. He was preparing himself. He dressed himself well for this occasion. So thanks, my Randy.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, man. I think CK Owusu wanted to come in. Philly. Indeed. We can see the influences of America, Europe, even in us, our history, in our history book, in ons onderwijs, of niet CK Owusu. Hoor je me? CK Owusu. Hey, je hoort me niet gewoon? People, do you hear me? Do you hear me? People in the comments, do you hear me, or is it hey, man, today what's F to be serious, man? What's happening with everybody's internet? CK, hallo. Hoor je me?
Ik hoor helemaal niks.
Dan moet je even die oh, die internet. Maybe you have je hebt een mooie, ik zie je hebt oordopjes. Misschien moet je die oordopjes even skippen, man. En toch die Bluetooth is misschien niet goed connected. Let me type it. Remove the earpods. What Maar wie zegt dat hij in Bims woont? Ja, man. Hey, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is CK Owusu. We horen je alleen niet. Maybe someone can coach him afterward. Vandaag iedereen's internet is ding, man. Wauw. Iedereen's internet is eventjes nokkie. But so okay, it's enough about the influence because we have established that indeed the influences of America, Europe, they have various influences from race, religion, technology, social media, education. There are so many things, and the question is that do we benefit from it or not? Because I think I will ask this question for our bro. Oh, I think I sent a request indeed to okay. Do we benefit from such things? Yeah, and I think Randy already discussed and said that indeed there's no benefits from it when we're talking a part of education. Arike.
Faffie.
Ik ben nog gewoon, man. Met jou?
Goed. Ik heb even geen oordoppen, dus ik hoor je vrij slecht.
Ik hoor je erg goed.
Oké, helder. Wat was de
I,
vraag dan?
my question was, what are there any benefits
To what?
from the things that we have been, because we have already established that race, religion, technology, education, social media, invention, we have learned a lot from we have seen a lot from the influences of America and Europe. So are there any benefits, or is it basically only here to destroy human or our modern world?
I personally don't think that there are any benefits to what we have been taught
Mm-hmm.
from the Europeans, from white people, if you want to call it that. I think that Martin Luther King made a statement, and before he died, he said that he was afraid that he was leading his people into a burning house, because he was the one who was shouting about things like integration. Integration is good,
Mm-hmm.
equal rights, etc. But I think that really integration has been one of the worst things that could ever happen to Black people in general.
Why?
Because the more you integrate, they always say there's this proverb that says that keep your friend closer,
Mm-hmm.
but keep your enemies closer than that. Because the more you keep your enemies closer to you, the better you can subdue them, spy on them, keep on hold on them.
Mm-hmm.
And when we look at the history of Black folks coming in contact with white people, the more we allow them in our space,
Mm-hmm.
the more we suffered from the consequences, right? For the people who love to Google things, there was a time in America where Black people tried to do for themselves, and there was this
Yeah.
street called Black
Black
Wall
Wall
Street, for
Street.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a time where Black people were like, okay, you know what? We are sick of integration. We'll try to do for ourselves,
Self.
and that was the most, let's say, wealthy and the most wealthy street in America when in
Back
regards
then.
to Black people leading
Yeah.
it. They were self-sufficient. They had their own schools, own
Their own
hospitals,
economics.
making their own food. Their economics was totally independent of the white man, and they were really prospering. So as long as you remain dependent on someone, that person will always rule on you, rule over you,
Over you.
right? And we as Black people, we cannot come to a point where we become equal or leaders in a system which was not created by us, right? This whole system, the economic system, the educational system, our food supply, everything is controlled by a small group of people.
But is it then not advisable to go back to Africa? Because we are all coming here, we are all coming here and living in the system of the Americans, of the Europeans. Why not going back?
Yeah, everything has its pros and cons. If you say that you will go back, you will have your liberty back. Or let's say I'm not saying that you will literally have your liberty back in one day,
Mm-hmm.
but the chances are greater that you will build up your independence. You'll become self-sufficient quicker if you go back. But on the other hand, it will not be easy, to build up your own educational system, economics, and all those other systems from the ground up. It will take hard work. That is the choice that Black people have to make, because many people who study and teach or read about history, they always ask themselves the question like, why don't we go back to Africa? Why don't we do this? It's because Black people usually don't have the mindset.
But he
or the
said to do
reserve-
what?
or the-
To do what? Go back to Africa to do what?
I think that you asked the question to Randy. Exactly what Justice says. I'll come to that in a minute. I think you asked the question to Randy, like, who did you know that you were before slavery or whatever. Like, when you study history before slavery, you'll see that Black people had their own kingdoms. When you study carefully, you see that Europeans went to Black people to study. They went to Black people, to Africans, to study math and to study economics and to read in their universities.
Exactly.
So Shambui says, go back to Africa to do what? Go back to Africa to rebuild what you had before slavery. So I'm not saying that it will be easy or it's possible like that. But if you want to be independent, and if you want to gain your liberty, and if you want to build up your own economics where nobody can oppress or suppress you, yeah, then you have to do for self, right?
Yeah, but it's really funny because there's also another take on this. Because when you we are in a Western world right now, in a Western country, they are
Yeah.
governing it. But when you go back to Africa, when you study history, also you would say that there was a moment wherein all the Western country came together, the Berlin Council,
Okay.
going back to see how they can strategically um, root out literally Africa and make them tear them down. So that system has been in place for years, So maybe they have been even that system might even be stronger than what we think of. So if we go back, will it not be something difficult? Because I think Justice already saying that yeah, man, someone will sell you for $1. You know, pass. So we can ask our own. We can ask our own fathers. We can ask our own mothers. We can ask so many people trying to build up something in Africa, their houses, but then
Yeah,
so
but you can always make excuses. Go back to Africa to do what? Maar if you don't go back to Africa, dan je gaat hier moeten werken voor die tata. You will have to work here for the white man. You have to work for this system. So when you have to work for the system, don't complain.
so when are
If
you
you don't
going
want to
back?
go back, don't
When are you
complain.
going back? When are you going
I'm
back?
not complaining yet. I'm not complaining. I'm being honest. I'm being honest. Like that's why, for example, it usually takes a certain foundation
Yeah,
to build something new.
yeah.
If you don't have the foundation, you are safer here in the West than going back to Africa, right? So that's why I'm saying that. That's why I said it. When it comes to building your own things, it's it's hard. You know, it's hard. But yeah, you have to step out of this system. You know, you have to step out of this system to build your own system. Because if you remain part of this system, you always have to face oppression, suppression. History won't be in your favor. These are all the things that you
Mm-hmm.
have to deal with because you choose to remain part of the system, right? So
True.
if you want to be free, if you want to tell your own story and make your own history, you can't be part of this system and do that. You have to step out, but also stepping out, it requires planning, it requires building a foundation. Before you can just go to Africa,
But
someone will.
what I'm trying to say is that the system you're talking of here in
Mhm,
this Western world might also be
mhm.
the system that governs Africa.
Yeah, so
So
that's why I
wherever
said.
you go,
Mhm.
and I see Razy also said Africans are only busy with killing so-called witches and churches to go every day, while the European is exploring the oceans and the galaxy. So I think he is also trying to say what I'm trying to say, that wherever you go, our black-headed are too focused on riches, money,
Yeah,
one
that's
dollar.
why that's why we shouldn't underestimate the power of religion and what religion has done to our mind.
Who?
Because even before slavery was established,
Mm-hmm.
when you study it carefully, you see that slavery was the foundation of slavery in Africa. Let's say West Africa or Central Africa was religion. You know,
What?
religion was at the foundation of, let's say, religion was one of the most crucial tools that they used in order to suppress and oppress and do some psychological, subconscious damage to African people,
So
right?
religion, you
So
mean the Christianity, right?
predominantly
Predominantly. So
Christianity.
is the Bible wrong?
Also it's not only Christianity. Also when the Arabs came and invaded the north of Africa with Islam was the same. Was also a type of religion was also used, and slavery was also justified by religion. So religion in its entirety has been really, really detrimental to African communities and African and black people.
Wow, 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 wow. First of all, I want you have said wonderful things. But I just want to make a side step. CK, I don't know if you're ready. I don't know if your phone is already. Maybe try it with YouTube. Go to YouTube. Maybe if you hear some YouTube sounds, then we then we know if you are ready.
Ja,
Um,
man,
but
die
indeed,
AirPods waren,
what because
waren moeilijk.
Okay. Really interesting. Religion. Is that so? You confirm that religion, its influence of the American Europe, and they have given it to Africa. Are we then believing the religions of the Americans, of the Europeans? Is the Bible from them? Yeah, how can we view such things? Because basically, then
Easy.
we are just following a book, which is
Mhm.
literally from America or from the European.
European. So so an easy way to know whether the Bible was given to us by white people, blah blah blah, is simply you have to come to the understanding that the stories in the Bible were there and were in our possession before we had something called the Bible. You know, Abraham lived and his story was recorded. Enoch lived, David lived, the Messiah, or whom the people know as Jesus or Yahushua, they all lived and all their stories were already recorded before we knew something called Christianity and before we knew something called the Bible, right? So that by
Okay.
itself shows us that slavery or the Bible cannot be something that was given to us by the white man, because before the white man came to us, the Bible or the scriptures were already there and the Messiah was already there. His story was already recorded. David's story, Goliath, all the things were already recorded. What they did is they gave us their interpretation of
Of.
those scriptures. They did not give us the scripture. They gave us their interpretation. And their interpretation was the interpretation that was used to justify slavery and to subjugate us and to oppress us physically, mentally, psychologically, and subconsciously in every area of life. They give us an interpretation that was in line with their agenda. So if you stop your research halfway, you'll begin to say things like the Bible was given to us by the white man. But if you continue your research, you'll see that the Bible and all the stories in the scriptures were there before we came in contact with any white human beings or Europe or slavery or whatever. Right? So that by itself should tell you and should make you understand that our faith and the scriptures that we look upon was not given to us by Europeans or Americans, but the interpretation that many of us now hold, that was given to us by Europeans and the slave masters from that time.
And I also think that's one of the greatest weapon that they use nowadays to really keep us ignorant. To keep us ignorant. And I saw Razy saying a wonderful statement concerning detoxing. We have to detox to detox everything we have seen or we have learned. Everybody has to be put in jail for 50 years, for example. That's what he said. Or like what China did, 100 years. No communication with the with the outside world.
That's why I said in the intro that integration was the worst thing that happened to black people.
Yeah.
Because integration allowed us to become lazy, and integration gave the enemy a foothold in order to keep us ignorant.
Thank you very
Right?
much. Thank you very
So
much.
yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, man.
Hey,
Thank
go
you
in here, man.
for sharing your word. Maybe CK Owusu is now ready. Maybe other people also have their take on it.
Inshallah, ik hoor je niet meer.
So,
Maar volgens mij... Oh ja.
Hij hoort me niet meer. Iedereen's internet gaat een beetje nokkie. But indeed, we have established that we have various opinions concerning the Bible. People would say, no, of the first boat to Africa was by the name Jesus. How can you follow such a thing? How can you move? How can you be moved by a book which doesn't teach you anything? So these questions are here, but maybe we have to also dive in what was before slavery. And I think offending people with Fendi. Yeah, man. CK. Hey, this internet is not easy. CK. Wow. Hij heeft nog steeds die oordopjes. Ja, maar welke telefoon heeft hij eigenlijk? Hey, CK. Thank you very much. No. Randy asked a profound question. Are white people our enemies? Are the white people, yeah, our enemies?
Yo,
Yo, Surya.
alles goed?
Ja, man, met jou?
Ja, man.
Je bent er gewoon?
Ja, man, ik ben er gewoon.
Ja, man, ja, man, ja, man. It's Onze broeder Siki heeft het lastig met internet of zo, man. Maar ik snap het niet, want hoe volgt hij wel de hele show? Maar als hij online gaat, werkt het niet. Dat betekent, het zijn dezelfde speakers. Maar ja, hé.
Ja.
Hey. Hey.
Ja.
So, maybe you have followed it already. Engels, Nederlands. Oh ja, vorige keer zei je, maakt niet uit. Maakt niet uit.
Maakt niet uit, ik
Maakt niet
versta
uit.
je.
We gaan vertrekken.
Precies.
Because we have established that indeed we have the history, the life, religion, everything was already there. Or let me put it, religion. The books that we have, but the Bible was already there before slavery. The only thing that we have is that the interpretation of slavery has been given onto us. So then the question is, then are those white people our enemy? How do we have to feel them? Because, yeah, nowadays, you know, in our modern world.
Persoonlijk, ik ben jong, ik ben 18. Dus wat ik zie in mijn ogen, ik mag blanke mensen niet. En dat is mijn persoonlijke voorkeur. Bij mij is het van, als je wit bent, moet je jezelf bewijzen dat je goed bent. Want als ik naar je kijk, vind ik je meteen slecht. Ook al heb je niks gedaan. Omdat ik weet van...
Ja, maar we zien je niet goed, man.
Ik weet van... blanke mensen, ze hebben witte mensen, want ze zijn niet blank. Witte mensen hebben gewoon... Ze hebben vaak twee gezichten. Begrijp je? De ene moment zijn ze je beste mattie. En dan, wanneer een andere blank persoon, wit persoon komt en hij doet negatief tegen je, dan gaat hij je niet meer backen. Dan gaat hij opeens anders doen. Begrijp je?
Oké, maar deze is toch een goede vraag. Maar je mag donkere mensen wel? De backstabbing black on black? Oké, je mag donkere mensen wel?
Kijk. Ik ga mezelf eerder geliefd voelen bij een donker persoon dan bij een blank persoon.
Wow.
Ondanks het feit dat ik weet dat wij donkere mensen, we zijn vaak negatief tegen elkaar. En
ja, dat is precies wat Rezi zegt. Sometimes I walk around black people, I feel ashamed of our behavior.
Maar dat is niet iets dat wij uit onszelf hebben. Dat is iets dat de witte persoon heeft gecreëerd. Hij heeft ons tegen elkaar neergezet. Want op het moment dat wij blakkas, wij donkeren, allemaal één gaan worden, dan gaan wij overnemen. En hun weten dat. Dus wat hun hebben gedaan is van, ze gaan je zeggen van, nee, kijk naar die blakken, hij is niet goed voor je. En jij gaat denken van, hij zegt dit, die witte persoon zegt dit. Want wij hebben geleerd, wij jongeren hebben geleerd dat die witte persoon toch hoger is dan ons. Als je niet gaat kijken naar van waar je komt, als je niet gaat kijken wat je voorouders hebben gedaan en zo, ga jij denken van, die witte persoon is groter dan ons. Dus als hij mij wat zegt, moet ik sowieso luisteren.
Maar dan, let's establish a few things. Want ik zie, je hoofd is heet. Je hoofd is staan to heet. Het is helaas bijna tijd, maar ik ga je opnieuw inbellen, ja?
Ja, sowieso.
Maar, want, wat ik van je hoor, what I hear from you is, to put it in a neat way, a bit of pain, a bit of regret, of not regression, but a bit of pain, what they have done. But can you blame the white people nowadays for what the ancestors has done? Is it not fair? You know, all life matters.
Die All Lives Matter is een protest tegen Black Lives Matter, dus ik vind het sowieso bullshit. Maar kijk, sowieso, vroeger was het ook zo dat wij donkere mensen elkaar gingen verkopen aan de blanken. Zo. Begrijp je? Dus we zitten ook
But
ergens
because
van.
of that, they could invade Africa also, hè? Gewoon the countries in Africa.
Ja, maar kijk, wij zitten dus ook een beetje fout. Maar ja, nu die blanke mensen, ze gaan het erin wrijven, je weet toch?
Ja.
Ze gaan ons laten zien van, hé, maar jullie deden het ook. Dus hoezo zijn wij slecht dat wij het hebben gedaan?
Maar jij was dus dan daar bij die Black Lives Matter demonstratie? Jij was ready gewoon?
Nee man, de reden waarom ik er niet was, is omdat ik woon in Nederland.
Mhm.
Ik ben niet daar in Amerika. Ik weet niet wat hun meemaken.
Ja.
Ik ga eerlijk zijn, de politie heeft mij nooit... Ze hebben me wel eens aangehouden, omdat ik hoodie op heb en zo, omdat ik blakker ben. Maar ik ben nooit op de grond gegooid. Ze hebben nooit een wapen tegen mijn hoofd gehouden. Dus...
Ja, maar Black Lives Matter gaat toch verder dan police brutality? Het
Maar
gaat gewoon
hier
over
in
het
Nederland...
systeem dat in plaats van bijvoorbeeld in Nederland kan je praten over etnisch profileren in
Precies.
belastingdienst,
Precies.
de postcode bijvoorbeeld.
Maar kijk, dat kunnen wij doen hier. Maar dat doen we niet. Want die eerste
Ja man.
die eerste ding wat ze hebben gedaan...
Het gaat niet alleen om Black Lives Matter.
Die eerste ding die hier in Nederland is gebeurd is... Je hebt donkere mensen die staan daar, gaan ze schreeuwen van... Stop police brutality. Bro, wanneer ben jij aangehouden door politie, hebben ze je op de grond gegooid?
Bro, het kon je kind zijn. Het kon je onkel. Het kon onkel Vivi zijn hoor.
Maar kijk,
Of Auntie Betty.
wij zijn hier. Ik begrijp, je wilt die blakkas daar helpen. Maar
Oké,
help
ja.
jezelf hier in Nederland. Praat over wat hier gebeurt. Praat over Zwarte Piet. Ga niet pas in november over Zwarte Piet. Doe jouw Black Lives Matter over Zwarte Piet hier. Begrijp je? Zeg maar, ga hier praten over van... Ja, als ik in de winkel loop met mijn blakke mattie, dan gaan die tata zeggen... Oh, kijk daar, misschien gaat hij wat stelen. Doe het zo, maar ga niet stop police brutality. Wat heeft politie met jou gedaan hier? Niks. Begrijp je?
Bruin?
Ik vind die Black Lives Matter hier in Nederland vind ik het nergens op slaan. Want het lijkt een beetje op copycat gedrag. We willen doen wat ze daar in Amerika doen. Want Amerika is, wat je net zei, die western. Weet je toch? Hun hebben die hype bedacht. Dus wij willen die hype gaan volgen. En ik vind van, hier, we moeten het anders aanpakken. We moeten onze eigen Black Lives Matter in Nederland vinden. We moeten ons afscheiden van die trend. Want nu lijkt het op een trend. Iedereen wil het doen. Iedereen wil Black Lives Matter.
Ja, als ik zulke dingen hoor, I'm always triggered to ask counterfeit question because...
Maar mag je sowieso vragen stellen.
Want oké, we praten over trend. De trend.
Yeah.
Je weet toch, people are hide up. People are hide up in many things. But to be honest, if you would look at the demonstrations in the 80s, in the 90s, because of that, we can live a life like today, right? Geloof me, if it was not of that, you would still be in the back seat in the bus.
Tuurlijk.
Dus to be against demonstration, and such things.
Kijk, ik ben er niet tegen. Ik vind het leuk, ik vind het goed. Weet je toch? Wij donkere mensen, wij begrijpen van... Oké, dit zijn onze rechten. We kunnen niet meer gekleineerd worden. Dit is 2020. Weet je toch? Want je wilt dus nog 30 plus jaar gaan kleineren. Dus ik vind het goed dat dit gebeurt. Maar het is gewoon van... We zijn niet daar. Je weet toch? Amerika is vergeleken met Nederland is Amerika een warzone. Je weet toch? Wij leven goed. Wij leven prettig. Als donkere mensen in Nederland. Wij leven goed. Maar niet, toch niet. Je moet het niet te letterlijk opnemen van we leven goed. Maar in Amerika, die mensen zijn al lang bezig daar. Nooit zie ik mensen. Sinds dat ding is gebeurd met George Floyd, nooit zag ik mensen protesteren hier in Nederland. Maar in Amerika, ik zag ze het doen. Vaker dan hier. Maar omdat ze zagen van wow, Amerika heeft hype gekregen daardoor. Dat bedoel ik.
Ja man, bro. De live gaat helaas eindigen, maar I'll call you on in the next.
Yeah,
Ladies
man.
and gentlemen, seriously, we have such depth topics about such things. The influences of the Western supremacy, Black Negro land. Watch them out on our SoundCloud, on our YouTube, and our Facebook. You would see in-depth information. You will get in-depth information about such things. And our sister says, I'm all for Black Unity Matters. See you soon. Come up, come back, come
Ik
back.
hou van haar, ik hou van haar.